What happened was true. The most bizarre and brutal series of crimes in America. This is the movie that is just as real, just as close, just as terrifying as being there. Even if one of them survives, what will be left? The Texas Chain Saw Massacre. After you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
What is this music from?
This is the theme song to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because one of the facts I was going to throw out was in the original, the soundtrack. I guess there was some licensed music that they had, which is probably what we're listening to.
Right.
But very limited. Most of the soundtrack comprised of sounds and noises that cows would hear in a slaughterhouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just to add that extra eerie quality to it.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome
To that movie show. It is Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker. Bill Neville is on assignment today, so we're left to our own.
Yeah,
the adults are gone.
Yeah, you can tell by that wonky intro start if you're watching live on Twitch. It's all me, baby.
There you go. And we are covering the 1974 Disney classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. There's a song, there's a dance, and everybody's a princess.
It was released October 1st, 1974. Had a budget of $80,000. Came back with $30.9 million. So once again, proving the point that these low-budget horror movies make a buck or two.
Of course.
Written and directed by Tobe Hooper. Kim Henkel was another writer on it. Starring Marilyn Burns, Edwin Neal, Jim Sydow. Gunnar Hansen was the original Leatherface. Only one Leatherface reprised his role.
Yeah.
And it was the one in the remake, Andrew Baranski.
Okay.
I believe is how you pronounce his last name. I always knew him as Latimer from the program.
Okay, yeah.
So he's the only one that actually reprised his role. All the other movies had their own individual Leatherfaces. And there were 8, if I'm not mistaken, including 2017's.
Are there that
prequel.
Many of them?
Yeah, there are.
Oh, my God.
There are, actually. And the funny thing was, because as I've been doing with these shows, I binged-watched all of them this week.
Yeah.
Just finished up actually this morning. And what I found was the original series, the original Texas Chainsaw series, which was 4 movies. It was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Part 3, and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation.
I don't know why there needed to be a next generation.
We'll get to why the next generation is an unsung hero of this. But basically, they all were the same movie.
Yeah. The entirety of Texas Chainsaw Massacre just blends into one thing for me. I can't, I'm just watching. I'm like, I feel like I'm remembering bits and pieces from all of them.
Yeah.
But it's just like, no, they just have the same plot points.
They really do. And even to the point of the ending of the first 4 movies is exactly the same. They boil it down to one girl.
Yep.
She's tied to a chair at dinner with the fucked up family.
And they're all eating things.
And they're trying to get half dead, almost dead grandpa to hit her in the head with a hammer. All 4 movies.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, are they doing the grandpa thing again? And they're saying the same beats. oh, Grandpa was a one-hitter in his days. Get him,
Yeah.
Grandpa. And they got the bucket, and he's throwing the hammer into the bucket, throwing the hammer, and finally hits her once.
Yeah, right. And
it's like, oh my, I couldn't believe how much they were just beat by beat the same thing.
right. Even the escapes are the same.
Very much. I looked at basically, and I gave the second one a pass.
Okay.
And for this reason, I looked at Texas Chainsaw Part 2, which Tobe Hooper actually directed as well.
Okay.
I looked at that as his Desperado or his Evil Dead Part 2.
Right.
Where it's like, all right, we made the first one extremely low budget. It made a shitload of money.
Right.
Now a company wants to give us money to make this movie.
So I'm going to make the movie I wanted to make the first time.
I'm gonna do it's gonna be a sequel, but it's gonna basically be the movie I wanted to originally make.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Because, like I said, it goes beat by beat, the same thing, but just with bigger sets.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember, and maybe that's the thing, because I vividly remember every single time the family at dinner.
Yep.
And I'm like, that can't be the same thing over and over again. No, it is.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Where does Leatherface stand for you in the horror movie icon pantheon? Because
I really kind of got a newfound, I guess for lack of a better term, love for him rewatching these movies.
Right.
Because I guess he's one of the few that, even though it seems like he can't die, it's not that. He's never killed in these movies.
No.
And I feel it's one of the more, I know he's wearing a face mask, but more fleshed out character. See what I did there? And for the reason,
Kids, it's because he's wearing somebody's face.
yes, it's a skin mask.
Yeah.
It's a great term, skin mask.
Skin mask. Ooh, yikes.
So, especially, and this was something that Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Oh.
Yeah, which came out maybe a handful of years ago. I want to say it was maybe like 2013-ish. But it was the second to last one they made, being that the prequel was last year.
Yeah.
So Texas Chainsaw 3D has a lot of problems. Mostly based in the, I would say, in the supporting cast category.
Okay, yeah.
It was a bit too, I don't know, modern for my liking.
Yeah.
I don't like my horror movies to be so in the current moment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there was too much hip hop in there and stuff it's like, feels like now.
Okay.
And I don't like it to feel like now. Maybe it's just a personal thing.
Yeah, okay.
But what I did like about it was they tried to do with Texas Chainsaw 3D, what they're doing with the Halloween movie now.
Yeah.
Where they basically took this one and bridged the gap with the original.
Yeah.
So the opening to Texas Chainsaw 3D is actual footage from the original movie, the ending to the original movie.
Yeah, where he's just flailing about.
Spliced in with a few new characters. But not new characters, but like Bill Moseley was playing one of the original cast members, because then we cut to current movie, which picks right up there. So Sally, who was the original final girl in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, gets away. And at the end of Texas Chainsaw, she just gets away.
Yeah.
We cut to credits as she's in the back of a pickup truck screaming her ass off.
Yeah, right.
Bloody as hell. Well, in this one, yes, she got away, but we're back at the house. Leatherface is back in the house. The family's all pissed off that, he let the girl get away. And now the cops are coming because she's gotten to a hospital. You can hear over the radio, we have her at the hospital, blah, 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 blah. Her friends were butchered there. And now the cops are descending on the house. Right. One of the sheriffs is there, and he's trying to kind of calm the situation down. Just send out, in this version of it, Leatherface is called Jebediah Sawyer. Okay. He also that's another one. He has like 5 names throughout the series, depending on what timeline we're working with here.
Yeah, it does feel like one of those situations, kind of like what we talked about with the Halloween movies, where it's like we have the Rob Zombie continuity. We have the continuity where The movie that just got released is the sequel to the original.
Right.
We have the continuity as if Jamie Lee Curtis dies.
Right.
We have the continuity as if Jamie Lee Curtis lives.
Right.
And so it feels very similar to that, where it's like the retelling of the same event over and over again.
The difference between the two is in the Halloween, Laurie Strode was always Laurie Strode. Michael Myers was always Michael Myers.
Right.
In the Texas Chainsaw world, he was Leatherface.
Yep.
He was Bubba.
Yep.
He was Tom Hewitt.
Okay.
He was Jebediah Sawyer.
Okay.
So he's actually had just different. The family has had different names.
Yeah, because I remember him being Bubba.
Yeah, Bubba was 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Because again, Bill Moseley, who shows up in 3D, was playing Chop Top.
Okay.
He was that hippie who kept scratching his head with the wire.
Right.
The heated up wire with the lighter.
Okay. Yeah.
Bill Moseley, of course, went on to also play Otis in Devil's Rejects and the Rob Zombie movies and stuff. Fantastic actor. But yeah, that was the Bubba one. But what I liked about the 3D was they humanized him a little bit more than the other movies.
Yep.
To the point, but it also explained a lot. So by having basically the town lynch the house,
Yeah.
they had a gunfight with the family first,
Yep.
and then started just throwing Molotov cocktails into the house.
Yeah.
And the house burned down. The family burned with it. But one baby was found. Like they found a woman holding a baby.
Okay.
Picked up the baby, took the baby, killed the woman.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do.
The baby grows up to be Alexandra Daddario, to much delight.
Yeah. Yes. Everybody's super excited about it.
And the last of in this one they're called Sawyers, or the last of the Sawyer family was Werner Sawyer. She dies, actually played by the same actress that was Sally in the original movie, Marilyn Burns.
Oh, cool.
So in 3D, she actually has 2 roles because they're flashing back to her as Sally in the opening, but then she also plays Werner Sawyer at the end.
Interesting.
Which was kind of cool. Nice little throwback. So basically, she's been taking care of Jebediah,
Right.
who's Leatherface, basically his whole life.
Okay.
He's as explained. I also like the continuity of at least that character, where it was never like Jason has been the kid in the lake.
Right.
He's as you would like to put it, superhuman juggernaut.
The undead zombie juggernaut.
Right. So he's had all that weird shit. Michael Myers was a kid who was a murderer. Then all of a sudden he's a witch with Sam Hain and a cult and all the weird
Yeah.
stuff, and he can't die.
And he has psychic communications with his niece.
I think the only other clear horror movie character that really doesn't break format is Freddy Krueger, which we'll get to next week.
Yeah.
But with Leatherface, he's always been the mentally disabled man-child.
Yeah.
That's probably it's almost like they play it off as he's more scared of you than you are of him, and that's
Right.
why he's lashing out.
Oh, he does. Everybody feels calculated and cold, except for Leatherface, who feels like a trapped animal.
Yeah.
Almost.
Very much.
He and that's kind of where I like him. I like him more than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers, faceless killer, silent, doesn't talk, and they kind of retcon the reasons why he's doing it.
Right.
Because I rewatched 2.
Halloween 2?
Yeah, Halloween 2 after doing it. And that's where they throw in the backstory of, he's just not obsessed with, with Laurie Strode.
Right.
She's actually his sister, and he's trying to murder his entire
Right.
family,
Right.
is what's happening.
Right.
And so it's like they kind of retcon that. Jason, there's a huge retcon from 1 to 2. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then from 2 to 3 and so on.
So on and so on, yeah.
And so Leatherface just kind of feels just like more he has more depth to him than the other ones. The only other ones that I think have more depth is the Cenobites
Okay.
from Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, yeah.
Just because they're like
I was never a fan of that series.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
That's another one that went way off the rails when Miramax got involved.
Yeah.
Because Miramax got the rights to it, and I remember because at the time I was running a video store, and I just remember almost like every other month I was getting a new Hellraiser to put on
Yeah.
the shelf. There was like 6 in 3 years.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. the Hellraiser franchise is weird because the concept is interesting, where but at the same time, it's just like it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a thinker.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You got they're demons that are gonna show you the wonders of hell, but by sexually torturing you.
The wonders of hell.
Yeah, it's like this is weird. And there's a guy, and he's a skeleton, and he's trying to get his life back together. It's a very weird. It's a very weird thing.
Right.
A lot of leather, a lot of chains, a lot of hooks, a lot of filleting.
Yeah.
Ugh, yikes.
Clive Barker was definitely into the New York leather scene back then. Back in the 70s.
Yeah, it's weird.
Google cruising, kids.
But Leatherface he feels a little bit more real and a little bit more grounded, which I do appreciate in the supernatural psycho icons. Chucky is a possessed doll from a serial killer that used voodoo to transfer his soul into. Right. Jason is an undead zombie juggernaut.
Right.
Michael Myers is an Irish demon.
Sure.
Maybe
this week.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll find. I'm going tonight to see the new one. We'll find out what he is now.
Yeah, we'll see. Freddy Krueger is a nightmare monster. You know what I mean? So it's just like
child murderer,
and
nothing else. We'll get to that next week.
He didn't.
But like I said, I liked that. They didn't pull the usual horror movie trope and kill the villain. He never dies.
No, they just get away.
Yeah.
But because he's also just a guy. So when she gets into that truck at the end of the movie and just flies off, yeah, I can't run after you.
He doesn't die in the I mean, none of them actually. Leatherface never dies, which I like that about this series. The prequel to the remake, we're gonna deep dive into some of this shit, was probably as far as the downer endings, because the whole family they used in the remake, which was the Texas Chain, it was one with Jessica Biel.
Yeah,
that was the remake, I believe, in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that right here. Yeah, 2003. So that did so well that it warranted another one. But they're like, all right, well, we got this great family.
Right.
That did so. Arlie Ermy was in it, and that was the one with Baranski as Leatherface. And like, all right, we did so well that everybody loves this family, but some of them are dead.
Right.
What are we gonna do? Prequel. So because they're all in it, none of the bad guys die in that movie.
Right.
All of the kids die.
Yeah.
It was a real downer ending.
Yeah.
Jordana Brewster, is that how you say her name?
Jordana Brewster. Yeah.
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
She was quote unquote the final girl on that one, and even she dies in the end. There's another thing about this franchise that has always bothered me, and we talked a little bit about it with Halloween, and that's the same title for multiple movies.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
There's 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and there's 2 Leatherface.
Okay. So
there was Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3.
Yep.
And then there was last year's Leatherface, which is a prequel to the prequel. It basically it's almost like...
Wait, there was one that was released last year?
Last year. Yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. It stars Stephen Dorff and Lily Taylor.
Weird.
And it basically focuses on Leatherface's teen years. Like, really how he became.
That was like that stupid Hannibal movie.
Kind of. But just more chainsaw-y.
More chainsaws.
But yeah, and it was kind of like it was basically like the opening act of Rob Zombie's Halloween, where it's like you're focusing on him being bullied as a kid, and it's simple. And my brother always talks about it because he's as big a horror movie fan as I am, and he's like, he didn't like how they were humanizing and making Leatherface a sympathetic character. But that's one of the places I disagree with him, because I actually like that a little bit better, because it makes you understand a little bit more why he's doing it. And it doesn't make him any less of a vicious killer.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, that's the weird dichotomy of these types of films, where the heroes, aside from Laurie Strode, the heroes are irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter who, you know what I mean? Like, you're there to see this murderer murder people. Right? And yeah, you don't want them to murder.
You don't go into a horror movie hoping everybody lives.
Right.
I mean, come on. That's not what you paid your ticket money for.
Right. And so it's like, yeah, you do want to see the character development of the bad guy.
Right.
And so it's like you can humanize them, or you can share their backstory and still understand why they're a bad person.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, yeah, this person was bullied and then he filleted him alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, see, that's not how you're supposed to handle that situation.
Bad Leatherface.
Bad Leatherface.
Go into the basement.
Yeah, don't fillet the person. Use your words.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Use your words.
Another ongoing theme throughout the series, clear inbreeding.
Yeah.
Clear inbreeding, which is probably what led to the mental disabilities of
Yes.
whatever you want to call them. Leatherface, Tommy, Bubba, Jebediah, whatever.
Yeah,
all of the above. All the families are fucked up.
Yeah.
And they look pretty fucked up. Not quite Hills Have Eyes fucked up, but still pretty fucked up.
Yeah, but there was also like nuclear warheads involved in that one.
There was. Those people were their skin was just hanging off of them.
Yeah.
At least these people had their skin on, most of them.
Yeah.
And other people's skin on them.
There was just a lot of skin.
There was a lot of skin. And
not in the sexy way.
no, only one set of happy boobs in the entire 8-movie series.
Only one.
And it came in Next Generation, where the realtor, or maybe, I don't know what she was. I think she was a realtor. But she was clearly there to show her tits. But also ended up being part of the family. In the end. She was kind of that, she's kind of the sassy broad in Texas, and it's like, the kids throw a rock through a window, which obviously means these high school kids just want to see my tits, and flashes the tits. It's like, really? Is that how you react to a rock through a window?
Yeah, that's
I'm
not...
going to start trolling some fucking strip clubs and throwing rocks.
Ah!
Even though I could just walk in. That was a bad analogy. Anyway, so only one out of 8 movies had a happy boobs.
Yeah.
Not actually a lot of nudity in the series.
No, because this series is vicious.
Oh, yeah.
It's far more vicious than the other ones.
And the interesting thing about that is Tobe Hooper originally was doing things specifically to tone down and to shoot away from on-camera gore and violence because he was hoping to get a PG rating.
That's so funny.
It came back with an X, as you do.
Yeah.
And made a few minutes of cuts and got an R rating. But that's why the first one you don't see. It's more the torment and the mental torture than anything else. I mean, Jesus, the Sally character has like 3 minutes straight where it's just close-ups of her eyes and mouth screaming at the end.
Yeah, right. Well, the other thing about it too is the sound design in this is great. And that's more terrifying than anything else.
Most of the stuff you could show for an $80,000 budget.
Right, because you look at like one that I always point to is in the movie Scarface.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In the movie Scarface, there's a guy who gets brutally murdered with a chainsaw in a bathtub.
Convenient.
Yeah, very convenient. But you never see the chainsaw touch the guy.
No.
You don't.
Nope.
And so it's the same thing here where it's like for a lot of it, you hear that chainsaw and you hear the sound
And they cut to Pacino's reaction of it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Watching his friend just get his head sawed up.
Right. And so it's like that your imagination of what's going on is always going to be way worse. And it's the same in this movie.
Yeah, it's the Reservoir Dogs theory of cutting the ear off. You cut away from it, and what you're imagining is better than a rubber ear.
Than a rubber ear, right. And it's just like you even look at this version to the remake, right, with Jessica Biel, where it's just like...
Yeah, because they went heavy on the gore in the remake and the prequel to the remake. Basically anything past the original.
Right.
Because even the sequel, part 2, opens with a kid getting his head chainsawed.
Yeah, right.
They went full on at that point.
Right. And so you're looking at this and it's just like, yeah, you don't see certain details and it makes it worse.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Your imagination is 10 times more scary than anything they can show you.
That's why a haunted house is always not as scary the next time around.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you go into a haunted house twice, the next time's lame because you know where the monsters are jumping out from. So
I still enjoy the Haunted Mansion.
That's yes, you're right. Those ghosts coming home with you every time.
Every single time they those hitchhiking ghosts.
Those hitchhiking ghosts. Do you know how weirded out I was? Because they have the RFID bands now, and so you have to have your information, and you say where you're from and all that stuff. And the RFID tag has the ghost say, "Hey, we're going to
Yeah.
Massachusetts or California or whatever."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's terrifying. The first time I ever saw that.
I mean, I was a little freaked out when A Small World had the "Goodbye, Mike" at the end of the thing. I'm like, I don't want that information out there.
I don't like that.
Change my name.
I don't like that.
It's only going to take one guy to change his identity to a curse word,
Yeah.
and then all the fun's ruined.
Yeah, and then we can't have nice things. Like,
Right.
What a monster. What a monster. We're talking about Leatherface, but that guy's the monster.
That guy's the monster. But yeah, I mean, the series kind of followed the same formula. It was usually 4 kids in a van.
Yeah.
Always a van. Even in the new ones, they still got 70s vans.
Yeah. Well, we're on a road trip.
Sure. On a road trip through Texas, as you do.
Yeah.
And damn it if they don't always stop at the wrong gas station.
I know.
Which starts their horrible... All of them, though. Jason, for the first Friday the 13th. They stopped at the wrong guy. You're doomed. That fucking guy. And they all have that guy. And it's like...
The Harbinger.
Yeah. The Harbinger of Doom. And...
Yeah.
So they're always stopping at the gas station. They're always picking up hitchhikers. Why do people pick up hitchhikers?
Yeah.
I've never understood that.
Yeah. The weirdest one was when that in the remake, because I don't know, does it happen in the prequel where she pulls
That was the first remake with Jessica Biel.
Yeah, she pulls out the revolver.
Yeah, out of her wah-wah.
Out of her hoo-ha to just shoot herself because she's like, I'm not going back to that house.
Yep.
Instead of being like, hey, just so you know, there's a cannibalistic family down there. Maybe we should just go the other way.
Yeah. No.
Like-
I'm taking the much easier way out than going back there.
I'm not going back there. Instead of just letting you
The funny thing was about that. Okay, so there was 4 people in the van.
Right.
And much like I mentioned on the Friday the 13th episode, the remake of that one, as well as this one, they're going to get a bunch of weed to sell it.
Yeah.
Because whatever, they can't just be on a road trip to see Skinnerd.
Yeah,
But even though they were going to a Skinner concert, but they still had a bunch of weed from Mexico they were going to sell.
Or something.
Something like that. I'd hope so. I think they had 4 pounds of weed in the car.
Something like that.
Which Jessica Biel was really against.
Yeah.
Big problems. But the other girl in the car
Yeah.
was also a hitchhiker.
Yeah.
She's sitting there making out with their friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it opens with the 2 of them in the back seat making out, and then Jessica Biel and her boyfriend in the front seat.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, 4 friends, Skinner concert. I know where we're going. And then later she's like, wow, it's so lucky that you guys picked me up. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're a fucking stranger?
Yeah.
How awesome are the 70s?
Yeah. Right. So you just got picked up, and in 20 minutes you're making out with that dude?
Gotta love the 70s, man.
Oh, God. Free love.
Free love, man. But yeah, and then it's just like, it's literally like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, there's a hitchhiker. Pick him up.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
It's why do you do that? Stop picking
Why?
up hitchhikers.
Why?
It doesn't go well in the original when they pick up the hitchhiker and he starts slicing his hand and slicing the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Takes a picture. The guy doesn't want to pay him $5 for a picture. Like burns the goddamn thing.
Oh, yeah.
Just like and it starts smearing blood all over the thing.
Oh, it's weird.
Let me take a moment. Also,
Yeah.
Franklin in the wheelchair in the original.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's the most annoying character maybe in all of film.
Yeah, he's pretty...
He's horrible. Like,
Yeah.
you pray for that guy to die.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he's a cripple.
Yeah, it's very
Or
odd.
as they keep saying in all the scrolls after it, because they always talked about Sally and her invalid brother Franklin.
That's so funny.
Every one of them did a Star Wars scroll. John Larroquette was actually the original narrator.
Okay.
And then he came back for the original remake. So he did this one, and then he also did the Jessica Biel one.
Yeah.
He reportedly has said in interviews, which whether it's true or not, I don't know. For the original, his payment for his narration was a joint,
Yeah.
a marijuana cigarette, for his narration in the original.
A marijuana cigarette.
But yes, in all the other ones, it was always because they were always calling back to the original. Sally and her invalid brother Franklin.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because the Dennis Hopper character, that Dennis Hopper was in the sequel. To which he said, this is the second worst movie he's ever made besides Super Mario Brothers.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. He's done some bad movies.
He has done some bad movies.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
We should do Super Mario Brothers.
Maybe that we will do for our 1-year anniversary.
Maybe.
It's coming up, kids.
Yeah.
We gotta do a bad movie for that. We can't just have a fun day.
No, it's got to be a bad movie.
Yeah,
I have a list of a couple of them that
All right. Oh, That reminds me.
Yes, it does.
We'll get back to Dennis Hopper and his invalid son or brother or whatever he was, because he was related to them, by the way.
Oh, weird.
He was a U.S. Marshal
Okay.
in the movie, hunting this family that
right.
killed. And I couldn't tell because he kept calling them brother and sister, but he was also calling everybody sister. It was kind of like his thing in the movie.
Yeah, right.
You know, so I couldn't tell if
he was talking about them being brother and sister, but then called everybody sister.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like, are you like brother, or are you just like, hey, brother?
Yeah, right.
Like Hulk Hogan brother, or were you born from the same vagina?
Yeah, right.
You know, something like that.
Blood brother? Yeah, no, that's a weird.
No,
thing too.
that doesn't count either.
Yeah, that doesn't count either.
You know, because they got they cut the hand and do the handshake thing. So, all right. Next Generation.
Yep.
It stars right after Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger.
No, I didn't. So I haven't seen that one.
Okay, so there's a lot of fun with this one. First of all, like I said, it was made immediately after Dazed and Confused. So Mr. Texas himself, Matthew McConaughey, has to get in on Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, of course.
It went on to be an okay movie. They were literally the stars of the movie.
Yeah.
But a few years later, around 96, 97, they both blew up and became really famous. His was A Time to Kill. I forget what her big break was. And basically, the company who had the rights to it was going to re-release it and really push. This is a Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger movie, because the original was the original poster was like a Leatherface, but a cross-dressing Leatherface type of thing with like a tight skirt and stockings and heels and stuff, but Leatherface and a chainsaw.
Yeah,
that was the original poster. It did have their names on it because they were the stars. Well, I remember working at the video store around 96, 97 and getting the boxes for the re-release of Next Generation, which had their faces and names clearly plastered on it.
Okay.
So they both had the same agent, and their agent went to Sony, who owned the movie, and basically said, "You're exploiting my clients and their popularity. You're going to remove any mention of them in your advertising. You're going to recall those boxes and movies. And if you do not, these two high-profile actors will never do another Sony picture again."
Oh, wow.
Guess what happened?
They pulled it
They
off.
recalled the fuck out of it. And actually, it's being released on Blu-ray by Scream Factory in December.
Okay.
And their original, because they have newly commissioned artwork on all their things.
Yeah.
The original one had the artist put them in it, and they had to then recall that and redo that.
Interesting.
Because there was that. It's still holding true today, even though both of them have done interviews about it and said, "Oh yeah, it was dangerous and probably a illegal type of movie because we were there was no stunt protection or anything like that. We were just running through the woods and stuff like that." But they both have said that it was kind of a fun experience.
Well, I wonder why, like, now they wouldn't just be like, this would be fun to have out there.
Oh, they let the movie go out.
Yeah.
You can still release the movie. You just can't use them promotionally or in advertising.
Yeah. Okay, because I've seen that before with other things where, like, and it happens with, and this is going to be weird, but this happens with famous martial artists, right? So you have a martial artist. One of the ones that I remember very prominently was Tony Jaa.
Not Black Belt Jones.
Not Black Belt Jones.
Oh, all right.
Tony Jaa, he was in The Protector in Ong Bak, and he's very, very good. His movies are very
Real
good.
martial artists or movie martial artists?
Like movie martial artists, like action movie martial
Bruce
artists.
Lee.
Like Bruce Lee, right? So Bruce Lee, Jet Li, that kind of thing. So there were a lot of videos that were then released with Tony Jaa on the cover being like, he's in it and you should get it.
Yeah.
But he's only in one fight scene and he's the bad guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's like I've seen them. Google like any of like they did it with Pesci and De Niro especially is one of the ones I remember because my brother actually bought them because he was a big mob movie fan.
Right.
And when they were younger, they did a bunch of like low budget things that they were like sixth supporting guy in,
of course.
And then it gets re-released in a box set with their face clearly on the cover.
Right.
5 Robert De Niro mafia movies. And like $10. And my brother's like, all right, I'll buy it. And I saw it on a shelf. I'm like, what's with this? He's like, yeah, I watched one. He's like an extra.
Yeah.
That's such shitty marketing.
Yeah, he's a featured extra.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
like so Sandra Bullock was another one.
Right.
She did a bunch of like, more independent-y but supporting role type things, as you do as when you're
Right,
breaking
yeah.
into the business. Everybody does it. All of a sudden, they're re-released, and it's a Sandra Bullock movie. Her name, her big pictures on the cover, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
So that was basically what they were stopping.
Right.
Even though they were legitimately the two leads of the movie,
Right.
it just became they were clearly exploiting what was happening, with them in their careers.
Right.
Part of me is like, and then part of me is like, I get it.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, whatever, fuck it. You were the leads of the movie. They have the right to put you there.
Yeah, right.
But then it's like, all right, you're also just exploiting their popularity for an extra buck.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Because nobody's going to watch this movie otherwise.
But the real point to why we started talking about this is there's a scene, which it's the start of the dinner scene, which is in every Texas Chainsaw movie. And McConaughey walks through the door and goes, all right, all right, all right. And I literally, I was half paying attention at that point, and I rewound. I'm like, no way.
No,
He didn't say it.
No way.
Boop, boop, boop. All right, all right, all right. I'm like, holy shit, he fucking said it.
That's so funny.
God bless Matthew McConaughey. He is a national treasure.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Also, this was the first movie that they got the girl right.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, Renee Zellweger was the girl. And she was the first girl, first, as they call them in horror movies, final girl.
Yeah, the final girl.
She was the first one that could actually run.
Oh, really?
If you watch the previous 3 movies, the girls run as if they've never used their legs before.
They're just a bunch of brand new does.
Which is like, I've seen interviews with, all the people that played Leatherface, and they're all said the same thing. It's like, yeah, I had to just sporadically like cut branches and trees and kind of veer off a couple times because there's no way I couldn't catch her.
Yeah.
They were just so slow. And you watch it, it's like there's a lot of long shots where it's like you see Leatherface just kind of trotting.
Yeah, right.
And they look like they're giving their all, but their legs just aren't cooperating. Then all of a sudden we get the Next Generation, and Renee Zellweger is a goddamn track star. She takes off like a bullet and leaves Leatherface in the dust, so much so she has to stop and let him catch the fuck up.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, finally.
That's good.
And then they get, Alexandra Daddario running, and that's just fun for the whole family.
That is fun for the whole family.
By the way, fuck double-sided tape. Because that end scene, there's no way she doesn't have happy boobs popping out of those things.
Oh, of course.
Because her shirt it's a button-down shirt. It literally gets ripped open, but
Yeah.
somehow sticks to her chest.
Yeah, of course.
Her ample chest.
Her ample bosom.
Anywho.
Anywho.
So, much like in horror movies, they start getting picked off one by one.
Yeah, of course.
But the funny thing is, not a lot of actual chainsaw deaths. Even when we get to the gorier
It's funny.
versions.
It's funny because there's not a lot of chainsaw massacring
Right.
in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Most of the people that get cut with the chainsaw are the family members.
Right.
Like in the first one, Leatherface, I think, is the only one that actually gets cut with a chainsaw.
Right.
Which, again, these movies sound incredibly dangerous. Even through the fourth one, Next Generation, they were still using a live, real fucking chainsaw.
Yeah, because they're insane.
And I'm like, so in the original, Gunnar Hansen, who played Leatherface, has to cut his own leg with the chainsaw.
Right.
So they put a metal plate over his thigh and then, filled it with, meat and gore and shit like that. And the blade has to just come down and cut.
Right.
And he said his screams were real because when the chainsaw hit the metal, it heated up so much he was burning his leg.
Oh, jeez.
Not cutting it, burning the fuck out of himself. So
Yeah.
he's just screaming in pain. And yeah, I mean, Zellweger has said the same thing. She's like, yeah, you're really running from a guy with a chainsaw that if you fuck up, you will get hit with a chainsaw.
Right.
It's over, Johnny.
Jeez.
Excuse me. Sally in the original actually had her finger cut in the scene because basically Grandpa in all of the first, 4 movies or so, Grandpa is clearly a vampire because he drinks blood.
Yeah, of course.
He's the guy that looks like the corpse but still can, kind of throw a hammer into a bucket, but he drinks blood. And they're trying to get they got a knife and they got Sally's finger.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the blood to come out of the tube on the other side of the knife.
Okay.
And so the actress just goes, fuck it, just cut my finger. Let's just do this shit. because it was
right.
one of the most like 100-degree. It was like the worst record summer in Texas history.
Yeah, of course it was.
It was like over 100 degrees every day. It settled down to about 89 at night. So there was no comfortableness. They're surrounded by rotting meat. They're covered in fake and real blood.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare type of shoot. And yeah, so she just let them slice her finger and then just bleed. So, I mean, and then all of a sudden, when she's running away at the end, she's running through all this bush. This actress, again, sounds like she was a calamity waiting to happen.
Yeah, probably.
Because everything I read about her, it's like, yeah, she cut her finger here, and then they used a stunt woman to jump out of the window, but then for the pickup shot of her landing, they just needed her to literally fall.
Right.
Like twist broken ankle or something. She hurt herself there.
Of course.
She's Marilyn Burns is the actress I'm talking about, by the way. She's running through the woods and all the fucking prickers and branches. She gets out of the woods. She's covered in her own blood. Her shirt's all tattered up.
Yeah, of course.
It's like this sounds horrible.
Yeah.
This doesn't. Again, we glamorize these old classic horror movies, and we talked about it, with Friday the 13th and with Halloween. But it's like when you're making something like this on no fucking money, you don't have trailers and campers, even ones with budget. New Line Cinemas were the ones that produced Next Generation.
Right. They still didn't have.
They had Renee Zellweger has said they had one fucking Winnebago that. The front seat was the makeup chair, and they set up basically shower curtains so the girls could change behind the curtain.
Yeah, gross.
In one Winnebago for the whole cast and crew that kind of hang in. It's not a glamorous lifestyle, these independent horror movies.
Yeah.
But they're doing it for our benefit.
Oh, yeah, they're murdering themselves for our benefit.
They're breaking ankles, they're burning their bodies up for our entertainment. So when you say, oh, that's just a shitty horror movie, think about the people and the sacrifices they made.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, this I just do want to touch on the sound design of this movie one more time because it is the best part of this. The sound of the thud of the hammer when the first guy just like
kill.
Yeah, he just pops in front of the door and Leatherface just comes out and just bops him with that hammer. It sticks on your ribs.
Yeah.
It sticks on your ribs.
The amount of sledgehammer deaths in the entire franchise would just make Triple H have a boner.
Oh, it had to.
I mean,
it would have to.
Because that was their whole through line was they were butchers and slaughterhouses.
Right.
And the original way before the hydraulic bolt guns to kill a cow was to beat him over the head with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, right. You'd hit him in between the eyes with a sledgehammer.
And as you learn through the remakes and the other stuff, that's where Leatherface grew up, in these slaughterhouses working and killing cows.
Right.
And so how else are you going to kill somebody if they're coming into your house? You hit them in the head with a hammer.
Right.
Bring them downstairs, throw them on a meat hook.
Yeah. Ugh, God.
It was so... Oh, the meat hooks.
Yeah.
And the dangling bodies that aren't dead.
Yeah.
Because nobody really... There was so much skin being removed off of live bodies in this. Because every time it's like, oh yeah, he's taking his face off, he must be dead. No, you're still seeing his leg twitching and his mouth moving and he's breathing, so he's experiencing all of this.
Yeah, all of these this is like the most brutal of all of these movies.
Definitely.
And it's just, like I said, it just sticks with your ribs. For forever, that's what I was told, is just like, oh, man, this is like a bad, like, this is the one. Yeah. For the most part, yeah, it is.
And the funny thing was, it was another one of those movies we touched on Last House on the Left, either last episode or the one before, that it was one of those movies in the 70s that people were confused if it was real or not.
Right.
So much so that even because the opening narration and scroll says this is true events.
Right.
But if you fact check it, the date that they give is after production had wrapped.
Okay.
So people are like, it's real, man. That really happened. It's like, no, dude. They filmed it, and then the date they gave in the narration was after they had already wrapped filming.
Yeah.
It's calm the fuck down. It's a movie. It was, there was loosely based on Ed Gein.
Yes.
With hints of Norman Bates and Psycho.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in the 3D version, they really touch on the Norman Bates part of it, like bringing the mom's corpse up to the bedroom type of thing, and that whole deal. But very Ed Gein-y.
Okay.
Wearing the skin of others.
Yeah. Right.
In that manner.
Right.
but also just is an original piece of work.
Right.
It's not a true fucking story. Calm down, people.
Yeah.
As they said in Last House on the Left, it's only a movie.
Yeah.
Only a movie.
Yeah. Well, that was like then in the remake when they have the like security footage of the cops trying to clear the house.
Yep.
And then at the end, Leatherface attacks them.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, it's stupid.
That was actually cool. That was a cool touch because in the original 1974 one, they had crime scene photos. That was that was that flashbulb sound that you heard.
Yeah.
Which again, just a creepy fucking sound that also followed in all of the sequels. They all kind of just peppered that in as a nod to the original.
Cool.
But yeah, the crime scene footage I liked because it was shot very much in that 70s Super 8. It was actually a film camera that they used to do these crime scenes in. And the reason I thought it was cool because of how accurately it actually depicted these crime scene films. There's a movie called Wonderland, not the one Wahlberg's filming in Revere right now.
Yeah.
But it was based on the John Holmes and the Wonderland murders.
Okay.
Starred Val Kilmer as John Holmes, and is actually a good movie.
Never seen it.
It's a good one. But the bonus DVD has the actual crime scene film from that actual murder house that it was based on.
Right.
And you're watching it, and it looks just like that. It's just a cop with a microphone, with a hard light on his face, real grainy Super 8 film, walking through and pointing out, okay, that's blood splatter there, that's brain there, that's victim 2. And you like, it's fucked up because when you're watching that, that's an actual dead body.
Yeah.
That's actual crime scene film. And I'm like, I remember watching and be like, I shouldn't be okay with watching this. Yeah. This is kind of fucking with me. But then seeing what they did in Texas Chainsaw, I'm like, they nailed it.
Yeah.
They nailed what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course he survived.
Yeah.
He survived and killed the cops, and on we go with the future.
Yeah.
Where they're gonna take him next? Because they're still turning him out. I mean, last year they did the real origin story, the teenage Leatherface.
That's the craziest thing that I just didn't even know that they released another one of these. Was it in theaters?
Limited. It was okay. So that's another thing. The release of it was a bit wonky.
Yeah.
It was originally exclusive to DirecTV.
Okay.
And then it was released on video on demand, limited theater run, probably released for about 90 minutes. However, I heard it was in focus. And then a Blu-ray release.
Weird.
Yeah. It's okay. It's good. It's decent. It is what it is. What I do like about what they've been doing with these remakes, and the Rob Zombie one we talked about as well with Halloween, is they're really going into that visceral violence of it.
Right.
Like the sequels are almost cartoonish. The sequels to Texas Chainsaw are extremely comical and cartoony, and there was nothing really scary about them. They tried a little bit in the third one to have those more, let's pull it back and have a little bit more serious tones to it. But 2 and 4 are just bonkers.
Yeah.
They're just fucking bonkers. Bill Moseley's chop top in 2, the flashbacking Vietnam vet with the plate in his head that he scratches with a burnt fucking coat hanger.
It's weird.
Is just so out there.
That's God. That also just doesn't feel good. That just
doesn't sit right with you when I describe it.
Yeah. No, thank you.
He's got a lighter and he's lighting the tip of a coat hanger and scratching his metal plate, and then he takes the skin that he scratches off and eats it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in a cartoony way. In a fun way.
In a fun way.
Yeah, in a way you're like, aha, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's definitely plays with continuity. It has the list of the characters.
Yeah.
And it has a continuity A.
Yep.
The remakes.
Yep.
And then a continuity B.
Yep.
So there are 3 separate continuities when it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, that's what I remember. All right, because I remember the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003. Mm-hmm. And then I remember the
Jessica Biel one.
The Jessica Biel one. And then the one in in 2006.
That was the prequel to that one.
It's the prequel to that one.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning.
Yes, the beginning.
Yep.
And that is not the same as Leatherface, which was the prequel to Continuity B's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Which Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D
Yeah.
is then the sequel to that one.
Yes. To the original.
Yes.
Yes. Much like, as we said, they're doing with Halloween now in theaters.
Yeah, which is just weird.
Still going to go see it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm going to go see Bad Times at the El Royale.
I can't wait to hear what you think about that one.
Oh, it's
because
gonna be exciting.
It looks like such a fun movie.
Yeah. The best part is that I still don't know what the movie's about. For those of you who have no idea what the movie is, it is a movie starring Thor.
If you watch TV, you've seen the
Yeah.
I mean, they show it every commercial.
Yeah,
break.
you have to. But it has so many talented actors in it.
As I said upstairs, it looks just like a Coen Brothers movie.
Right.
And maybe that's just Jeff Bridges in it.
Maybe just 'cause-
Looking like the dude,
yeah,
Catholic version.
the Catholic dude.
The Catholic dude. Father dude.
Yeah, but it's just like there's so many people in it, but not too many, right?
No,
Because
no.
it's not that like, well, like Valentine's Day or one of those.
Any
type
of the holiday movies.
Any of the holiday.
Any of the stunt casted holiday movies.
Yeah, where there's just like 40 people that you all know, and it's like
Rosh Hashanah, starring every actor available.
yeah, and it's just like yeah, they're all in it for 2 minutes. Stop
Flag
it.
Day.
Yeah, Flag Day, Pearl Harbor Day,
D-Day.
D-Day.
It's the most depressing of the holiday movies.
It is. It really is, but important, and we don't forget it.
You know what El Royale kind of reminds me of is did you ever see Identity?
Yes.
With John Cusack?
Yes.
Same kind of premise. It looks like a bunch
Right.
of people go to a motel and shit happens.
Right.
And then we as the audience have to kind of figure it out.
Yeah, that was a good.
I liked Identity.
That's the one where it turns out to be the serial killer at the end, right?
That's where Hollywood was really into twist endings.
Yeah.
And everything was like we did Wild Things. You can find in the archives on newageinsiders.com, which has one of the best twist endings ever. People just talk about the boobs. That's a great
That movie,
mystery movie.
So, two things about that movie. One, somehow our highest rated movie on YouTube.
It really is.
I have no idea.
really
I
is.
guess we're the only people that talked about it.
People really wanted to hear about that and Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah.
Those two are really ranking in the numbers.
Who knew?
God bless you.
Who knew?
People thought that we were just going to be showing boobs through that one, but no, it's just our dumbasses.
Yeah, talking about it. Hi. Yeah. So there's that.
Yes.
Also, yeah, that movie is bonkers.
Yeah, yeah.
That movie is straight up bonkers.
And pulls it all together with really?
Yeah.
She did it, huh?
Ah.
Or he. Spoiler for a 96 movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, Hollywood was really into those twist endings back in those mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that was before or after Sixth Sense, or if Sixth Sense was just part of that.
I think it was part of it.
And that was the one. People
Yeah.
kind of, when you talk about twist endings, they always go to that one.
Yeah, which is really funny because it falls apart so hard
Yeah.
on a second viewing.
Oh, it's terrible on a second viewing.
You know?
Like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
You almost, yeah, that's one that, for a great movie,
Right.
it's definitely not rewatchable.
No, it's not.
I think I might have seen it 3 times
Yeah.
total,
right.
and I don't even know if I own it.
Well, it's just because you look
And I
at
own everything.
Yeah.
I have Leatherface, the prequel from last year on Blu-ray.
That's insane.
Okay.
That's insane. I didn't know that movie existed up until like an hour ago. So it's nonsense because it's like, okay, so who let Bruce Willis in to see the kid? Like, that's my big question.
Look, he's a ghost. He can walk through walls.
Right, but he thinks he's alive. So the ghost of Bruce Willis walks
so
up,
someone had to have.
let the ghost in.
Yeah.
So, think about it, right? The ghost of Bruce Willis walks up to the door because he thinks...
You mean when he's in the bedroom sitting next to him and the I see dead people scene?
Right. And it's like, so he knocks on the door to see the kid.
Yeah.
And then the mom opens the door to let the ghost in? The other thing, too, was he his patient before? How recently did the incident with Donnie Wahlberg happen?
So you're saying we're gonna have to do a Sixth Sense show in probably January.
And the biggest twist ending about all of it is I was the runner-up to play Cole in that movie.
Who's Cole?
The Haley Joel Osment.
Oh, how old are you?
I am 29.
Oh my God, you're so young. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of the New Age Insiders.
I'm like, I remember when that movie came out. I was already working at the video store.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you were playing the kid?
I was potentially playing the kid.
Interesting. We'll have to do that one then.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know it was Donnie Wahlberg till like the third viewing.
Yeah, I did. I just.
Yeah, but you were.
Yeah.
You don't count now.
I don't count.
You
now.
don't count now. I guess to pull it all back, twist ending Alexander Daddario in Texas Chainsaw 3D ends up being his cousin, Leatherface's cousin. That's how she inherits the house. And then we end the final moment of continuity in Leatherface until the next one with her now caretaking over the house and him.
Okay.
So they go and they kill the evil mayor who massacred her entire family,
Right.
leaving only Leatherface and one old woman, who then, when the old woman died, Daddario inherited the house and
Right.
Leatherface. And there was a long note about how she's a Sawyer and Sawyers take care of family. And here is your cousin Jebediah. He lives in the basement. He kind of eats people, wears people. Don't worry about it. Just leave a plate of food at the door, kind of like an animal.
Yeah.
And move on with your life. But he will protect you forever.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of like an animal.
Kind of like an animal. Kind of
And
like a good old
that
dog.
is how, because even though the movie came out last year, it was a way back prequel. So that is the final bit of Leatherface's story for now, is he's living in a house with Alexandria Daddario, and I am really jealous of that fact.
Yeah, fair enough.
I want to be the animal in her basement.
That sounds all kinds of wrong, but we can.
So as we wrap up on that,
Yes.
next week we are wrapping up October with the most fun of the characters we're probably going to see this month.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street. I
Oh,
hear
yeah.
myself.
I heard ourselves too.
You can't do the music anymore.
Nope,
Bill!
I can't do the music anymore.
Bill!
Look, I told you. This is what happens. This is what happens when.
Did you at least get the picture up there?
Yeah, the picture's up there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it was Nightmare on Elm Street, and that was there.
There you
and
go.
so-
You're batting 500.
I'm batting 500. I'm doing okay. Look, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't sit in this chair often. I should probably sit in it more and do more shows.
Probably.
You know, and then it'll just get smoother. But to be fair, this is the smoothest of all of the shows that we've done.
We're getting better.
We're getting better.
Yeah, with these weird scheduling things, which this one was my fault. But yeah, we are getting better. So next week we will have A Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger and more teenagers
Yes.
getting massacred
Of course.
because he's a child murderer.
He's a child murderer.
murderer
He does not touch
and
children.
nothing else.
Yeah. Yes. That is
Maybe.
That is it. So
Maybe. So please follow us on social media at Mike Wendt, at Liam NAI, hashtag that movie show. Let us know what you want us to cover because we're wrapping up October. We're heading into November. We have a few ideas, but we obviously always want to hear from you on social media. And make sure you follow wherever you find your favorite podcasts. New Age Insiders Pop, so you get that movie show every single Monday.
yeah, money.
Because we
money
are
Monday. Money Monday.
And we get bonus shows like the interview I did with Gabe Polsky, which should be up now, I believe.
Yes, it should be.
Should be.
We'll see.
Should Bill! So yes, please follow us and make sure you share. Tell your friends because we have fun doing this and we want to know what you think about how much fun we have doing it. All right, I think I'm rambling enough.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.